Hello and welcome to my chat on education and all things here at Fortis Education. I'm Dr. Neil Hopkin, the Executive Principal. I use the word chat because the theme of this week's reflection is all about ChatGPT. Have you seen it? It's the latest trend in terms of artificial intelligence, and everybody is seeing it as something which actually blows Google out the water, and it's as though you're talking to a real person and you can ask all sorts of questions, and the artificial intelligence is able to give you not only answers to the questions that you have, but actually very well crafted answers, very well written answers that perhaps you can use. And it represents a very significant challenge, a turning point, I suspect, in education. Because if students now find that there is some kind of engine that's available that is able to spontaneously and randomly generate and regenerate all sorts of prosaic text in answer to questions, then it changes the kinds of assessments that schools will be able to do in the future. I'm sure there's a huge distance to travel yet in the discussion about how artificial intelligence and education are going to combine and whether they're going to become the very best of friends or bitter enemies. But at this point in time, there's a real opportunity for you and for me as parents to decide how can we engage our children in thinking what the implications are for artificial intelligence and what it might mean for teaching and learning. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for instance, that you were asked to think about what is the role of responsibility in the book and play and inspector calls? This is a very standard Key Stage 3 or Key Stage 4 type of question that we would ask our students. And ChatGPT is able to churn out, in a matter of seconds, a brilliant response to that. Well, of course, if all we're asking our children to do is to talk about responsibility in a particular play script, then ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, is able to remove any sense of the child having to be creative or thoughtful at all. And for you as fee-paying parents, and for us as educators, that's a real concern if the children don't engage. But what are we to do? Do we push to one side technology and say, well, look, we understand that out there in the world it's being used, but here within an educational establishment you can't use it? Or do we have to do hard work as parents and as teachers to decide, how does this game changer change our game as parents or educators? What can we do to help our children move from those low-level responses to questions such as, what is the role of responsibility within this particular play, into something where they think about the types of questions they would ask, the types of questions that would actually shed more light and new perspectives. And within a few questions, maybe they are able to start to broaden out an answer into something which is genuinely very sound and very thorough. Now, it puts a great deal of emphasis on higher order thinking skills. And that's something that I've long believed parents and educators should spend a lot of time working on with their children. Not allowing our children just to describe what they see, not allowing our children just to respond in a very predictable manner to a question, but actually thinking behind that question, thinking above that question, and thinking about their thinking. It's called metacognition. So I think that artificial intelligence, instead of heralding the end of all life as we know in education, is quite the opposite of that. I think it's going to drive all of us, parents and teachers, to think again about how we lead thinking. And in education, that can only be a good thing, surely. So why don't you spend this week having a little experiment with ChatGPT, if you haven't seen it before, and see what it can do and be amazed at what it can do, and a little bit about what it can't do, but also talk with your children about what the implications of that might be and what higher order questions really look like. So have fun around your dinner tables this week, and I'll see you next week for a chat or my usual video.